cute little gremlins out there in podcast land. Did you miss us? We missed you.
We did.
If you're new here, hi, my name is Tracy Assy. Every other week I sit down with my sister Janet and my niece Kaylee, and we dish some serious tea about some truly fucked up shit. Mm-hmm. Mostly Kaylee likes to see how pissed off she can make her old Aunt Trav.
Yep. Preach,
yeah, mostly
sister.
that's what happens.
Yeah, mostly that's how it fucking works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They mostly come at night.
Mostly.
Teacups? So, once upon a time, my sister and I were sitting there minding everyone's business at my kitchen table, drinking our various poisons, as we do, sitting behind a pyramid so large that we created ourselves, mind you, just me and her.
Do you remember that fucker?
That shit was huge. I couldn't.
Giant.
It was ginormous.
It spanned the whole table.
It was so big that we couldn't see anyone else in the room. So basically, we were in our own little world. My wonderful brother had brought me my tea sets from when I was younger and that he had found at his house. So naturally, my sister and I, we decided to have a tea party.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, the beer goes down so much quicker out of a tiny teacup. We have since upgraded our teacups, but we haven't ever stopped drinking out of them.
No.
Nope.
If you've never tried it, do it. And do it right fucking now.
Do it right now.
Do it right now.
You know what? Just do it right now.
Right now.
You're going to feel a whole lot better about your
will.
life.
And sit down with us. Join us. We're about to go on another adventure together.
Another one?
Another one.
I'm so excited.
But before we do, don't forget to follow along with our tales on social media. Facebook is our favorite, so hop on over there and follow us, the Poison Tea Party Podcast. Also, if you want to help support the show, head on over to our Patreon page. There's several tiers to choose from, and we're working hard to get you some exclusive content and merch in the near future. But the only way to access these awesome perks is to join us. Become one of us.
One of us.
To get what is sure to be hilarious content, outtakes, and merch. Okay, here I come with the questions.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
It's that... oh, my God. It's that time of year. My second favorite holiday is right around the corner.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Me too.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is your favorite Thanksgiving tradition, ladies?
Oh, my God. The whole fucking thing.
I love it.
I
love it.
Love the chaos of Thanksgiving. Is that
And your
normal?
grandpa? Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about?
Like, walking into absolute madness is, like, so comforting.
And it's like, I'm home.
yeah.
You know what my favorite thing is? I usually go to Dad's before anyone else.
Yeah.
And I get there before that happens.
Yeah.
So I go there and
So she gets to watch the progression.
it's
Yeah.
like 8, somewhere between 8 and 10, depending on the year and what they have going on or what they still need done. And then I usually like help set up tables and do whatever the fuck else is in the getting ready to be chaos.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, I crack a cold beer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And by
As
the
one
time-
does on
By
Thanksgiving.
the time everyone gets there,
Mom's already got a buzz.
Mom's already had 5 or 6.
Yep.
We're just going to call you great grandma.
For real. And I'm not feeling the chaos at all. I mean, I
No.
see it.
Right.
But I'm like, not
She's
good.
just sitting in a
Except
corner.
for that one year.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't
talked.
drinking that year.
We already
Yeah.
talked about that in a
Every-
previous episode.
Yes. If you don't know, go
Now
listen.
you know. Yeah.
Every year I always walk in and it's like hectic, and Grandpa Bill immediately I'll go to hug him and he'll hug me and be like, "Hi baby, okay, I need you to start juicing the turkey."
Right.
Yeah.
Every year it's always juice the turkey.
As soon as you walk in, Dad's got something for you to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in.
Immediately.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And I
Yeah.
love that.
I love it.
I love it.
Remember that year we were going to put the lemons under the turkey skin so it had tits?
Yes.
Remember that? And then I fucking dropped
Dad
the
put
bone.
oranges in it, I think, that year.
It wasn't.
There was oranges in it one time.
I think that was like the next year because
Girl,
I
put
because I went up to him and I was like, "So here's the deal. This is what I was going to do to your turkey."
Yeah.
I don't know if he gave it boobs, but I'm
don't
still
either.
No, I
one
don't
of these
think he
days I'm
did.
gonna come over there at 7 a.m. and I'm gonna put fucking lemons.
You should.
Do it.
gonna.
He'll die. And this year is what? How many years?
25?
25 years.
We moved in. Let me see. We moved in on Dad's birthday of, I don't even remember. I was in 6th grade.
So I don't know.
It's
but
been a long time.
Dad's been talking about it. That
Yeah.
it's like 25 years.
Probably
this
that
year.
sounds
It's
sounds
like a
about
big,
right.
big thing this year.
Yeah.
They're doing duck, I think.
I don't know. I know there's
Prime rib.
Prime rib. Yeah, that
Prime
was
rib.
it. Prime rib.
Turkey.
Yep. Trixie's husband Doug he's going to smoke the turkey.
Oh, I love smoked turkey.
I know, it's going to be
good.
delicious.
Okay.
And then I hope Trixie makes that fucking, the potato thing.
Yeah.
I want you to make
You
that
know what I'm talking
cranberry.
sweet potatoes with like the marshmallows
Yeah.
and the fucking.
But I
oh my
hate
god!
that.
Oh what?
I don't like it. So that leads me into our next
Yeah.
question. What is the best and worst thing to eat on
I already
Thanksgiving?
know Mom's answer.
I already know my answer.
Stuffing, bitch.
Dad-
That's the best
Not
thing.
just any
No,
stuffing.
not just
my
any.
daddy's.
my
Yeah.
daddy's stuffing.
Yeah,
Grandpa's stuffing.
that is like you only get it once a year.
Yep.
And it's so fucking good.
It's
I
the
can't.
best.
So
Made
what
with
you do
love.
is what you do is
Oh, yep. Mhm.
everybody listen up.
Yep.
I know
Lay
you
it-
know this already.
lay it down
But
for
you
us.
get your plate, right?
Yep.
And that first bite you got to get stuffing, mashed potatoes, and grandma's scallop corn in the same bite.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the
and
best.
gravy too. You got to get a
Get
little
the
bit of gravy
gravy.
on there.
That's the best part.
The shit is off the fucking chain.
Although I'm a green bean casserole mixed in with that too.
Same.
Tell that bitch to fuck off.
Hey everyone, let's talk to our mom.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, what's going on?
I don't know. What did I do?
Did you call everyone on purpose?
No.
Oh my god. Have you been drinking?
No.
Liar. Liar.
What? Did I call you on the Snapchat?
I don't know, Mom. Yeah, I think so. You're on the podcast. Say
You're
hello
on
to
the pod.
everyone.
You're on the pod.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Love it.
Yep.
No, I was reading your chat. You and Kaylee were having this
She's old and
afternoon.
senile.
Oh, you were stalking us?
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes. And somehow it called you.
Well, what the fuck?
Holy shit biscuit.
Well, we don't know nothing.
Mom,
I
what's
just
your
wanted to-
favorite thing to eat on Thanksgiving? Did you
My
know?
favorite thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Everything. Probably the pie.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't
yeah,
surprise
that doesn't
me at
surprise
all.
me.
What's the worst thing?
The good stuff. You know, like when people make corn and vegetables and stuff.
Mom doesn't want
She
vegetables.
doesn't want veggies.
You don't want that?
No, I want mashed potatoes and gravy
Yeah.
and stuffing. And
Yeah.
turkey
Yeah.
and
That's what we just
Yeah.
said too.
pie
It's my favorite.
and bread.
Oh, and bread. Yeah.
Bread is important.
I forgot about the bread.
Yes.
Yes. I don't want any of that. You don't need that green bean casserole.
That's my
That's
favorite.
what I said,
I
dude. That's the
know.
nastiest shit.
my
Mom
favorite.
and them hate
Maybe
it.
some sweet potato casserole because I do like
Yes.
Ooh, that's a
Gross.
Yes.
It's a good one.
I don't like it.
I think me and Mom are the same.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I did not know I called you guys.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm putting you on the pod now.
Okay.
You're on there forever.
Mom doesn't know how to work Snapchat.
Dumbass. No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
All right, you go
All
do
right.
something.
Well, you'll have to turn it off. I don't know how.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Psycho.
So there's
bitch
been
is crazy.
Yep.
Can you believe it?
Can you?
Can you even believe it?
All right. Well, Thanksgiving literally has nothing to do with why we're here today.
But we love
Just-
it.
It's coming
It's
up,
just
so
like
get
my
ready.
bestest.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a minute to highlight a holiday that doesn't get the credit it deserves in my personal fucking
And
I
that's
love
our
it.
period. Everyone, I hope you guys get to go and enjoy an awesome Thanksgiving with the people you love, and that doesn't even have to be your family. Whoever you're comfortable with and supported by.
Absolutely.
And she's pointing at us like
she's using her "this is happening" finger,
Yeah.
whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so the New England vampire panic. Have you heard
Okay.
about this?
See, Trask can't deal with the fact that Halloween's over.
No, I can't. So I know spooky season is over, but this story isn't really going to end up being about vampires at all.
Oh.
With that being said, we are still going to take a look at the history of vampires. This way, maybe we can try and fucking figure out how this shit.
You know,
Happened.
people really be out there drinking each other's blood and shit.
Oh, for real.
Oh, yeah. I love vampires.
Shut up.
I do. Rude ass.
She meant that shit, dude.
I was like,
She said, "Shut up."
She did. Do you guys ever watch that show, What We Do in the Shadows or
Yes,
whatever.
that is my favorite.
I love it.
If you haven't watched it, please do.
Have you seen you watch the newer ones, right?
No, I haven't watched. So
you watch the old ones.
Yes,
Start-
I
yeah,
watch
I
the
like
old,
the
old
okay.
ones.
because what's the guy, the
I
bald
don't
guy
know
with the glasses?
his name, but I don't know any of their names. But I was
God, I
just
love
watching
him.
it the other day because I haven't.
Nadia,
I
right,
haven't-
is
yes,
the girl.
yes.
I know her.
And I haven't watched the last 2 seasons, so I was watching it the other day at work, and one of the guys was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Did you be like, I have no idea.
No, I was like, "What We Do in the Shadows, bro? You never seen this
This
shit?
shit is funny.
It's on Hulu. You better get your ass over there and watch it."
Yeah.
Dad and I watch that shit together, and we're both like,
It's
because
my
it's
favorite.
like our humor.
It's very funny. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
But it's like, okay, it's not for everybody. Can we just admit
Yeah.
that out front?
No. If it's not for you,
Okay,
get a fucking life.
First
Chill
of all,
out. Relax.
my podcast.
Get off the podcast.
for real.
Relax. We don't want to be your friend.
I don't
We
wanna
wanna
be your friend.
Let me just say, if you like The Office, I don't know why you wouldn't fucking like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna diss on The Office as I was
No,
about to come for
I
your
was-
throat.
I was comparing it.
Don't
Girl.
you dare diss on The Office.
I would never do Dwight that way.
Anyway,
Yeah. So if you like The
my
Office,
God.
you would like that show.
Stop before there's a homicide.
for real.
Homicide. It was
Okay.
a double murder. Sorry.
Double homicide.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Somebody come get these bitches. Anyways, a vampire, if you didn't know, is a creature that preys upon humans, usually by consuming their blood. Vampires have been around for hundreds of years, mostly in Europe, but belief in them has faded in modern times.
Boring.
Yeah.
They're lurking in the shadows, bitches.
Because there's a long history of walking corpses and blood-sucking ghouls in folklore, it is difficult to pin down an exact set of characteristics belonging only to vampires. A constant in vampire lore, however, is the consumption of human blood or other essence, such as body fluids and like psychic energy.
I was gonna say energy. Yeah.
Yes. Followed also by the possession of sharp teeth or fangs. So we know that as vampires, duh.
That's
Yeah.
like the main thing.
For real. So in most depictions, vampires are undead, having been somehow revived after death. Many are said to rise at night from their graves or coffins and often needing to contain their native soil. So their coffins need to contain that. That's not like a standard thing that you hear about vampires, but if you look back old school, like vampire
Old,
lore and like
yeah.
movies and shit like that, that's in a lot of them.
Like Bram Stoker.
Yes.
Yes.
So vampires are generally said to have pale skin and range in appearance from grotesque to exceptionally beautiful, depending on the tale that's being told. Another frequently mentioned physical characteristic is the inability to cast a reflection or shadow, which also means they can't be like photographed or put onto like movies
You
and
can't
shit like
see
that.
him in a mirror.
Correct.
Yeah.
A person may become a vampire in a variety of ways, the most common of which is to be bitten by a vampire. Other methods include sorcery, committing suicide, infection, or having a cat jump over a person's corpse. Have you heard of this?
So that's how you become one?
Yes. I've never heard of the
A
cat.
cat jump over.
Yeah.
It's probably a black cat.
Yes.
Poor black kitties. They get a bad rap.
But they're the best
Yeah.
kitties. I mean,
Probably
aside
why
from
I'm
a
a
ginger.
vampire.
Yeah, you are. I love me an orange kitty, but black kitties are
I
where
love-
it's at.
I like the
Black
black
kitties.
kitties.
Some people believe that babies born with teeth or on Christmas or
What?
Yep, this is
All right.
or between Christmas and Epiphany were predispositioned to becoming vampires. Now Epiphany, if you didn't know, they're doing crosses over here.
I don't want no baby with teeth coming. Teeth.
What the
Can you
Leave it in.
imagine?
Leave it in.
I don't want no
Leave it
baby
in.
with teeth.
Teeth first coming at me, bitch.
Can you imagine if you just fucking give birth and you're like, oh, what a beautiful baby
Oh my god.
boy.
Let me
And
just
he's
put
like,
this into
But
perspective
they
for
do,
you.
but it does happen.
oh my god,
does
how
happen.
often
Somebody
does that
in my
happen? I've
life-
never known that
Yep.
to ever happen. I've never
I've
heard
never
of it.
seen it, but it does happen.
It does.
It's a thing.
If someone was like, "Come meet my little child," and then I went to hold that thing and it was like fucking smiling with teeth. Oh hell no!
And I wonder if it's like they don't have all their teeth, right?
No,
they
it's
probably
just
have like
a
one
few.
or two.
Yeah, they're not born with
Which
like
will be
a
those two front bottom ones because that's what
full
always
set of
comes in
fucking
first.
dentures
And
going
it's
on.
like,
Oh,
isn't it from like getting a lot of calcium or something in while they're
Well,
pregnant?
you're technically born with
probably
all of-
genetics,
It
right?
is. I think so.
Okay.
Because you're technically born with all the teeth. Well, you know, whatever that you're gonna have eventually.
Is
It's
it
not.
true that
They're
you're-
not all developed yet, but they're all. in there.
Is it true that you get your teeth from your dad?
I think it is because
You do.
mine
I don't. I get my teeth from mom.
That's true.
Your teeth look just like dad's and
They
mine look
do.
just
mine
like
teeth
mom's.
are my dad's.
Your teeth are your dad's,
And
but
mine are my
hers
mom's.
aren't
Yeah.
dad's.
Mine are my mom's.
They always say like the firstborn child takes after the dad or whatever.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true either, but
I mean, it is in both of our cases.
we both look like our dads and then
Yeah.
have the teeth. So
Yep. So anyways, Epiphany. Do you guys know what Epiphany is?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell our audience.
I'm going to explain it to the audience, though. So Epiphany, if you didn't know, is a Christian
Going
holiday.
down real good tonight.
It really
That's
is.
good.
Sorry.
And it marks the day that the 3 wise men visited baby Jesus, and it's celebrated on January 6th.
Wait a minute. What'd you just say?
Epiphany, if you didn't know, is a Christian holiday. It marks the day that the 3 wise men visited baby Jesus, and it's celebrated on January 6th.
I thought we were talking about
yeah, like an
no.
epiphany.
Janet thought we were talking about like an actual epiphany.
Yeah, it's what
So she didn't know what epiphany was.
No, I didn't.
So let's go back to they're going
rev-
down real good tonight.
Let's
Yeah.
review.
Let's review. Let's
Hello,
recap.
class. Let's review. Get out your
Epiphany
pencils and
is a
paper.
holiday as well as
As well as
remembering, or how would you describe like an actual epiphany?
like
An idea.
yeah, there you go.
like a realization.
Yeah, there
yeah.
you go.
Oh,
Perfect. That's the
that's the
perfect
better
word.
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is better.
So, anyways,
I'm sorry.
You're
sorry,
welcome.
everyone.
You're good. You're good.
They're going down real good tonight.
If you couldn't tell.
oh my god, vampires usually do not die of disease or normal human afflictions, so they're often seen with faster than normal healing capabilities. But there are various methods for their destruction. The most popular of these include a wooden stake through the heart, fire, decapitation, and exposure to sunlight.
And if you're in True Blood, you can get a blood infection.
You can.
Hepatitis.
Called Hep V.
Hep V.
Anyways,
Hepatitis.
vampire.
Hepatitis.
Hepatitis vampire. Is that what it is?
It's called Hep V, so I would assume that's
Yeah.
what it means.
Oh, ew. Don't get Hep V.
Don't do it. They're often said to be repelled by garlic, running water, or Christian devices such as crucifixes and holy water. In some stories, vampires may enter a home only if they've been invited, and in others, they may be distracted by the scattering of objects such as seeds or grains that they are compelled to count, giving their potential victims time to escape. Have you ever seen that? It's
No.
in I don't remember what fucking movie it is, but they throw it and the vampire is like this. Sorry, you can't hear me. And he like
I love you.
What?
and he has to count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, because they're compelled to count objects.
Because they're like
Shut up.
hypersensitive.
How come I don't know that at all?
Yeah, it's totally a thing.
Vampire lore says they like to count shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally a thing.
No, it is
Yes,
not.
it is.
I've
Google
never
it.
heard that.
Google it right now.
All right.
Google it right now. Are vampires compelled to count? Google
Okay,
that shit.
It's gonna say no,
It's
but
not, because
'cause
they
that's
are.
not a thing.
And I think it's actually on What We Do in the Shadows. Actually, I think it's on there.
oh, you're okay. Shut up. Hold on. Are vampires compelled?
Mom has quoted
How do you
like
spell compelled?
COM.
PELLED.
All right, bitches, I got it. Yes, one
See?
vampire myth is that vampires are compelled to count things. Wow, thanks. That was so beautifully stated, Google.
Yeah, informative, right?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Well, we learned
Now
something
you
today.
know.
We
The
learned
more you
something
know.
here today. Creatures with vampiric characteristics have appeared at least as far back as ancient Greece, where stories were told of creatures that attacked people in their sleep and drained their bodily fluids. Bitch.
I'm going to drink your blood.
Bodily fluids. Leave my pee alone.
Leave my pee alone. They don't want your piss.
I don't want your piss.
They don't want that. Tales of walking corpses that drank the blood of the living and spread plague flourished in medieval Europe in times of disease. And people lacking a modern understanding of infectious diseases came to believe that those who became vampires preyed first upon their own family, like within their home.
That makes sense.
It's thought that Bram Stoker named Count Dracula after Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the fucking impaler, bitch.
Vlad was born in Transylvania, Romania. He ruled Wallachia, Romania, off and on between 1448 and 1477. Some historians describe him as a just but brutally cruel ruler who valiantly fought off the Ottoman Empire. He earned his nickname because his favorite way to kill his enemies was to impale them on a wooden stake. According to legend, Vlad enjoyed dining amongst his dying victims and dipping his bread in their blood. Many people believe that the stories sparked Stoker's imagination to create Count Dracula.
And wouldn't it, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
wow.
come on.
They say that Vlad the Impaler, like, he had forests of impaled people outside his castle.
Yes, just
my God. For real.
like just like in his front yard.
Tea break.
Tea break. Oh, I need one.
Not
She
that
needs
we
another
need
one.
one.
Because I'm already wasted. Grab me another one.
Grab me another beer. All right. Vampire superstition thrived in the Middle Ages, especially as a plague destroyed entire towns. The disease often left bleeding mouth lesions on its victims, which to the uneducated was a sure sign of vampirism. It wasn't uncommon for anyone with an unfamiliar physical or emotional illness to be labeled as a vampire, so, like witches.
Yeah.
Oh.
Many researchers have pointed to porphyria, and it's a blood disorder that can cause severe blisters on the skin when it's exposed to sunlight.
Oh.
As
Like
a
you're
dis-
allergic to the sun?
Yeah, basically.
There's people who really have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a true thing. So this disease may be linked to the whole vampirism legend or whatever. Some symptoms of porphyria can temporarily be relieved by ingesting blood. So it's
What?
Yeah, it's a real thing. So this is probably one of a big thing that led to
Is
the
this
legend.
like a low in iron thing?
You
Is
know,
that
maybe.
I didn't look that up, but possibly.
like an anemic
Possibly.
situation? Okay.
Could be. When a suspected vampire died, accounts describe the decapitation and burning of the corpses well into the 19th century. Modern science has silenced the vampire fears of the past, but people who call themselves vampires do still exist. Mm-hmm. Communities of self-identified vampires can be found on the internet and in cities and towns around the world. To avoid reliving old vampire superstitions, however, most modern vampires like to keep to themselves. They typically conduct their rituals in private, and these rituals include drinking of the blood of willing donors.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Some modern
Liar.
vampires, it's like South Park. Some modern vampires don't ingest human blood, but claim to feed off the energy of others. Many state that if they don't feed regularly, they become agitated or depressed.
And some of y'all be feeding off of animal blood, you nasty motherfuckers.
So now we're getting to the panic, and I'm gonna show these ladies real quick the flyer, or the, what did they used to call them, the brochure, or the
Like a pamphlet?
pamphlet.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. That that was going around at the time.
Can I read it?
Yeah, you can.
It says, believe in vampires, period. Rhode Islanders who are sure that they do exist. Instances told of where the living have been attacked and preyed upon by these representatives of the unseen world. A member of the Anti-Vampire Party.
Wow, it sounds like news articles today.
That's basically what I mean. Yeah.
I'm really confused by the picture. Is it a vampire?
Well, let me see.
No, I think it's just non. Oh my god. Oh my god.
He's wearing a mask.
Is he? Is it a plague mask or no? It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's pointed. Look.
Let me see this. How'd I miss that?
Analyze it. Look
It's
at
a
that.
bearded guy. It's not a plague mask.
Oh my god.
There's no clear eyes or nose feature.
We will post this on social media for you all to see.
It looks like a dinosaur.
That's what I'm
Oh.
saying. It doesn't look like a...
So we're gonna post this,
Listen,
and
they
we're
weren't
gonna
great
do.
artists
You know what
in
we're
that
gonna
day.
do?
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
do a
post
poll.
this, and we're gonna do a poll.
Yeah.
Okay, is this a plague mask
Yeah.
or what the fuck is
What
he
the fuck?
wearing?
Or
on
is it a beard?
Or is it
Mom.
a dinosaur?
It is a beard. What the fuck? There's no dinosaur. First of all, let's cut the dinosaur out. That's
it in.
not a thing. Their plague mask, they have those big goggle eyes. They don't have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say plague mask, but it's definitely giving dinosaur.
Yeah.
T-Rex.
What the fuck is
It's giving
going
some,
on?
Anyway.
some kind of mask.
Anyway, we're gonna get to the panic now. Are we ready?
Yep, let's do it.
More than 200 years after the Salem witch trials, another mass hysteria struck New England: the fear of vampires.
What is it about New England? They really need to chill the fuck out over
They
there.
were just...
Too much salt water or
They're
something.
bored.
Yeah, they need
Chill out.
They need hobbies. During the 19th century, the spread of tuberculosis or consumption claimed the lives of entire families in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, and other parts of the Northeast. Consumption, known today as TB or tuberculosis,
For the wasting disease.
is an infectious disease caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. The disease generally affects the lungs, causing a chronic cough with blood-containing mucus, fever, night sweats, and weight loss, which is why it's called the wasting disease. Although New Englanders did not deny the existence of consumption, this came before the germ theory and was a time when physicians were unable to explain how certain infectious diseases were spread. Because of this, hopeless villagers believed that some of those who perished from consumption preyed upon their living family members. When a TB sufferer died, it was assumed that they consumed the life of their surviving relatives who also became ill from TB. So they're not denying the fact that TB exists.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
To protect the survivors and ward off the symptoms of consumption, the bodies of those who died were exhumed to examine for traits of vampirism. Yeah, wild. In New England, vampiric traits were determined by how fresh the corpse appeared, especially if the heart or other organs still contained evidence of liquid blood.
Mary died yesterday.
Well,
The bitches of
just
vampire.
Imagine how terrifying it was to live back in those days.
It was.
Honestly, these people were just trying to find a reason and an explanation for
Everything's
this.
terrifying.
Yeah.
It is. After a vampiric corpse was identified, the remains were either turned over in the grave or, in some cases, the organs were burnt, and the affected family members would inhale the smoke to cure the consumption. In rare cases, the deceased would be decapitated and their remains would be reburied. Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready. I already know.
I'm ready for this.
People believe that the spiritual connection that some suspected vampires had with their living relatives allowed them to gain access to their victims without ever leaving their graves. The practice of exhuming the deceased to ward off vampires was likely introduced to New England by traveling healers from Eastern Europe and Germany. One clue is a 1784 letter to the editor published in a Willington, Connecticut newspaper. A town official complained about a foreign, quote-unquote, quack doctor who was promoting the consumption ritual and had
dare that guy.
conceived a townsman to exhume the bodies of his 2 children. So not everybody was on board with this. It was hit and miss, okay?
Yeah.
Evidence also suggests that the practice was known and accepted, sometimes actually endorsed by the community at large, by town authorities, and even by clergymen, which was huge in the time. In the 1990s, archaeologists discovered 29 skeletons in a gravel pit in Griswold, Connecticut, which had once served as a colonial-era graveyard. The bodies showed signs of tuberculosis and had been rearranged into skull and crossbone patterns. The case known as the Jewett City vampires revealed one of the more unusual consumption rituals because the skull and crossbones, arranging the remains that way was not like a normal thing for them to do.
Okay.
If enough time had passed and there was nothing but skeletal remains and no sign of soft tissue, the New Englanders had to make a decision as to whether the corpse was undead. If villagers believed that they had uncovered the undead, they would rearrange the bones by decapitation and sometimes uproot the legs to prevent the vampire from leaving the grave.
Extra precaution.
Right.
You
Perhaps
gotta look out for them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Double tap for zombies.
every time.
Double tap's not a thing yet, Kaylee.
Okay.
Also, double tap.
I said for zombies, Miss Girl.
These are vampires, so
We're talking about vampirism.
Stake to the heart, bitch.
double tap to the heart, maybe.
No, you can't do that. If they're wooden
Why?
bullets,
I mean,
maybe.
you can.
If you're Buffy, you can do anything.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
You don't even like her, so don't even speak on
I
her
like
name.
the original Buffy. Don't give me Sarah Michelle Gellar.
For real.
Is that her name?
Yes. No.
Don't give me
Is that
her.
who it is?
Yes.
I don't even know. See? Fuck him.
I want Christy Swanson. Fuck you, Kaylee.
Fuck
Christy
you, Kaylee.
Swanson was way better than stupid Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No.
Perhaps the best documented case of suspected vampirism in New England was that of Mercy Brown. Okay? So now we're going to talk about Mercy. Mercy Brown was from Exeter, Rhode Island. George and Mary Brown lived on a farm with their 3 children, Mary Olive, not to be confused with Mary the mother, Mercy Lena, who went by Lena, and Edwin. It would
Yes,
be
the
Mary.
son.
Yes. It would be Mary the mother who would first succumb to consumption in 1883. Mary Olive, who was 20 years old, became ill and died in 1884, so just a year after her mom.
Oh.
She was well liked in the community, and her funeral was attended by many of the local townsfolk. And a bittersweet excerpt from her obituary said that all that really needed to be said about her. So the last few hours she lived was of great. Not all that needed to be said about her. That was rude.
Oh my
About her
damn.
death. I'm sorry.
Chas was like, period.
All
We don't need to hear
all
anymore.
that needed to be said about her death. My bad. That was rude as fuck.
Do what you want, girls.
The last few hours
She's dead. She don't fucking
I
care.
mean, she doesn't anymore. The last few hours she lived was of great suffering, yet her faith was firm and she was ready for the change.
Poor girl.
Yes. So Edwin then fell ill and left for Colorado Springs, which was a common place for respite from tuberculosis, and he remained there for a couple of years. Mercy Lena, who was just a child when her mother and sister passed, did not become ill until years later, and it is believed that she had the galloping case of TB, so...
It's really fast. And she didn't become sick till almost 10 years later.
Yep, I
Wow.
think we hit a year.
Okay.
1892.
Okay.
One where symptoms would show and then dissipate for years. Edwin, upon hearing of Mercy's deteriorating condition, came home to the family farm. Mercy eventually died in January of 1892, so yeah, almost 10 years later. And the town prayed that Edwin's health would improve. Certain townsfolk had different idea in mind, and they went to the Father George with a gruesome idea. It was believed by these locals that the cause of the family's misfortune was that one of the Brown women were not truly dead, but instead undead, and that they were preying upon Edwin, draining his life.
So guess what they did?
George Brown gave permission on March 17th of 92.
Definitely 18.
It was definitely 1800s. They exhumed the graves of the Brown women. Both Mary and her daughter, Mary Olive, were...
So they're looking for somebody to look like they're alive.
Yes.
Is what they're looking for. These women have been dead for 10 years.
Yep.
That's fucking insane.
So Mary and Mary Olive were both decomposing at a natural rate, but when they opened the coffin of Mercy, they were shocked. She was in pristine condition. Passing 2 months earlier, she showed no signs of decomposition. They determined she was indeed a vampire, and her heart was removed and burnt up on a nearby rock, and the ashes were mixed into a tonic for Edwin to consume in hopes of curing him. He will instead die 2 months later.
Yeah, he died. And why... I mean, I guess because it's very, it's magic.
Yes.
Right?
Everything, yep.
It's
magic.
Disgusting magic that they think is going to work.
But really,
And
they're
he
feeding
dies.
somebody TB.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously.
You're inhaling the TB from, the smoke and the fucking
But maybe not
whatever.
obviously because, there's
For
a-
us, it's very obvious, but
Right.
But for them, it was not so much so. Now, what was the cause of Mercy's unusual lack of decomposition, you might be asking?
Yeah, I'm asking that.
Are
what
you?
was that?
Well, let's remember that she died in January.
Yeah.
Okay. Was she an undead vampire stalking the living to feed her need for blood and tissue? The
Class, was she? No.
No.
The true answer is actually quite simple and probably not thought of at the time, which is kind of hilarious if you think about it. Mercy died in January. The ground was quite hard from the freezing temperature, so instead of putting her in the ground, she was placed in an above-ground crypt in the cold of Rhode Island.
Duh.
Yeah. And on the first thaw, they did move her.
And I'm kind of
To the ground.
like blown away
That they didn't
at
think of
this
that?
time because that probably happens a lot, right?
Yeah, but they didn't they didn't exhume corpses often.
So it's January.
Yep.
They don't bury her, right?
No, they put her in a crypt. Yep.
the ground is hard. This
Yep.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
People die in fucking December, January, February when it's so
But they
cold.
they don't open the coffins generally. They just
Oh, I see what you're saying.
they
Okay.
just move them to so it's
That
not
makes
like
more sense to me. I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, the bodies are, and they're just not.
right. And you would think that even though they're not like, I mean, this is common sense to us, right? Like you freeze something to keep it fresh, right?
Yeah.
This to you and I, it's super like duh, but to them, they're not opening the coffins when they're moving them into the ground. When the ground thaws, they're not. It's not like a normal thing that they're opening these coffins to check on these bodies. They're just putting the coffins on the ground and not looking at them.
I guess in my brain, I just thought that they would know that even more than we do today because we bury shit right away.
Well, you would think. And then like in the wintertime, like their food is staying longer, like their meat is, it's
Why
keeping
are they
longer.
not putting that together? And who's the smartest person in the room here?
Me.
Not here.
Oh.
I mean there, I guess.
Not their clergy.
Okay.
They're clergymen who are religiously, motivated.
I guess I'm just like, oh, they didn't know that?
No.
But obviously, like you said, easy for me to say, right?
Right.
Okay.
The story of Mercy Brown would inspire many people in their visions of the vampire. It is believed that an 1896 copy of the story made its way to the hands of a London stage manager by the name of Bram Stoker, who we've already talked about. Dracula was published in 1897.
And
so
who
a year later.
doesn't love that
Right.
movie?
I mean, it's a good one.
Yeah.
So you can draw your own conclusions from that, being that it was only a year later. So some people say Bram Stoker's Dracula was Vlad the Impaler, and some people say that it came from Mercy.
Maybe he got inspiration from both cases.
I think perhaps.
Yeah.
So Mercy's case isn't the only documented case. There were tons, mostly women.
Oh,
Well,
of
of
course.
Yeah, the great majority of them were women. So we have Rachel Harris, and she's from Manchester, Vermont. One of the earliest known cases of vampirism in New England had the name Rachel Harris attached to it. And she died of tuberculosis in 1790. The year after her death, her widower, Captain Isaac Burton,
Oh, I hate him already.
me too, married her stepsister.
Wow.
I
Keeping
really
it in
see,
the fam.
was my hate just like misplaced?
No, absolutely not. It was totally
It
right.
was properly placed,
And the
if
name,
you will.
and Hulda was the stepsister's name. Hulda.
Hold up.
Hulda?
Yeah. H-U...
up.
H-U...
Oh, sorry.
Hulda.
Okay.
Before long, Hulda began to exhibit symptoms similar to Rachel's. Family and friends reasoned that Rachel had become a demon vampire.
Oh, I
quote
do
unquote,
know this one. Yeah. Okay.
and was the culprit. In February of 1793, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 fucking Manchester residents braved the frigid temperatures to watch the liver, heart, and lungs be removed from Rachel's exhumed corpse and burned on a blacksmith's forge.
It was like a massive medical theater. You know
Yeah.
how they used to do that?
Yes.
Seriously, though, in those times, getting 1,000 people to gather,
Wow.
serious.
Just wow. Did they make pamphlets?
Probably. According to some versions of the tale, portions of her organs were preserved to make a tonic for Hulda. Even so, she died that September.
Yep.
Following her death, did the good people of Manchester realize the error of their ways?
No.
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 That would be too easy.
They, in fact, reasoned that Rachel was not a vampire at all and that she was, in fact, a witch.
Oh my God.
I want to know, at what point in history do people be like, maybe drinking the organs of people isn't a good idea
That are
because it
diseased.
never fucking works?
Not only that, but that
When does it
that
work?
die of disease.
Does it work at some point ever?
I don't believe
Have
so.
you ever heard of it working?
No.
No.
Neither have I. So what is making these people be like, this is a good idea? By the way.
You know, in fact, it's probably exacerbating their fucking symptoms because they're literally ingesting
The disease.
the disease.
Yeah.
No. That's a fun time. So we have Sarah Tillinghast from Exeter, Rhode Island, same place as Mercy. This is before Mercy.
Okay.
So in 1799, Stutley Tillinghast headed a prosperous family farm. He was married to his wife Honor, and they had 12 children. Stutley managed... yeah.
First
Oh
of
my
all,
God.
no,
Right.
absolutely not.
First of all, that's where you fucked up.
For real.
First of all, she's a vampire
Yep.
for doing that.
For doing that. Stutley was able to provide for his family by selling apples and peaches from his orchards across Rhode Island and southern Massachusetts.
Ooh, it sounds good.
Yum.
As the growing season began in 1799, Stutley began to have vivid nightmares night after night. When asked about the nightmares, many of which he would suddenly wake up from in terror, he said that in them he was working in the orchards, and at one point he would hear his daughter Sarah calling to him. While looking for her, he notices that the apple trees have started to turn brown and that exactly half of the orchard dies. This is important for later. After the growing season, his 19-year-old daughter Sarah started to keep to herself in her bedroom, only coming out to eat. It soon became apparent that she was ill and was diagnosed with consumption. And she would die a short time later. By spring, her 9-year-old brother James started to complain of chest pains, saying that Sarah had touched his chest. Soon after, he died as well. Sisters Andres and Ruth were the next to fall ill, each saying that Sarah would visit them during the night, complaining that she was cold. Soon after that, both sisters had died. Stutley visited his pastor many times asking for help, but nothing could be done. Hannah, Stutley's 26-year-old daughter, who was living nearby in West Greenwich, had started complaining about visitations from Sarah after she started to spend more time at the family farm to support her parents. Hannah also became ill, succumbing a short time later. Honor, which was Stutley's wife, also soon started to see Sarah, who would complain of being cold and lonely. Soon after, their 17-year-old son Ezra fell ill, and he also started to see Sarah at night while he was asleep. Now Stutley Tillinghast was beside himself, and one of his farmhands, Jeremiah Dandridge, spoke of a story he heard of
I already know where this is going.
He spoke of a story that he heard of the dead coming back to life to torment their family. In desperation, Stutley, Jerry, and another farmhand started to dig up the bodies of his children who had perished, starting with the most recent. Each body was showing visible signs of decay until he reached the last, Sarah. When her coffin was opened, Sarah's body had not yet begun to decay, and in fact, it looked very much alive.
And hers was the first, right?
Yes. Yep, she was the first one to die. Her face had a healthy complexion, though pale, and her eyes were open, which is normal, we know now. Mm-hmm. It also appeared that her nails and hair had grown, which we know now is normal.
Yeah.
Suspecting that she was a vampire, her heart was cut out and burned. Ezra, who was too far gone at this point, had also passed at this time. Honor, which was the mother, had become sick, and she ended up recovering and having 2 more children after this.
Oh my fucking God, girl.
Birth control wasn't a thing. After this ordeal, Studley realized that his dream of half of his orchard dying was basically a prophecy as half of his children had died.
That's so sad.
Isn't it sad? Sad. It's just a fucking running theme here. So we have Nancy Young, Foster, Rhode Island.
Fucking what is going on with that side of the country?
Yeah.
Levi Young and his wife Anna owned and ran a successful family farm. The native corn, potatoes, and onions provided a steady income for the family. Anna Young's preserves, made from wild blackberries, were renowned locally. Like, people love this shit.
That sounds delicious.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Their oldest daughter, Nancy, was known as a smart young woman with a quick wit and even temperament. At 19, Nancy was managing the accounting for the family farm. Sadly, in 1827, tragedy struck, and Nancy soon became gravely ill with consumption. As she lay ill, her sister Elmira took over the bookkeeping of the farm. On the 6th of April, 1827, Nancy succumbed to her illness, and a few months after Nancy's death, Elmira became ill with the same condition. Levi called on the best doctors in the region to help treat his ailing daughter, but none could cure her illness. One morning, Levi went to his daughter's room to find the girl up in her bed. Elmira told her father that she thought she was getting better, though she looked extremely pale and weak from the disease. Ugh. Elmira told her father that she had dreamed of her sister Nancy. This is a recurring thing. She told her father that Nancy had told her that the pain would go away soon and that she had forgotten about being sick for the duration of the dream. Levi Young was beginning to doubt the effectiveness of the conventional medicine and started to look into local folklore of evil spirits from beyond the grave that preyed on the living. Levi went to the town elders, and they surprisingly enough agreed that the Young household was being tormented by an evil presence and a vampire must be driven out.
It's so weird that they jump to that. That's not
Yeah.
what I would go to.
Well, and a lot of these, like, I didn't put some of them in there because I did take a few of these stories out, but about 50% of the time when they went to, like, the town, like, elders or whatever they're calling them, they were told that they were not allowed to exhume the bodies. So, like, the older people are like, no, you're fucking crazy. But they needed a reason, right?
They're looking for
They
something.
need a reason that their whole families
why is
are
this
dying.
happening to me? Yeah,
basically.
yeah. But that's not what if my daughter was like, I'm dreaming of my sister.
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't be like, it's probably because she's a vampire.
No, definitely not.
It's probably because they were hallucinating because they were fucking sick as fuck.
And it's like a recurring thing, though, like with years apart. A lot of these people are dreaming of the ones who passed. And
of
then
people they love,
and
of
then-
people they miss.
right, but to them at this time, it's
I know, like, psychology isn't a
Because-
thing at that point, and it's
Correct.
easy, and
but like for
That's-
me or you, like, thinking about it, right? So you're living in the fucking 1700s.
if
and
you
and
died when we were kids,
right. And
I would probably dream about you forever.
And if I was on death's door, subconsciously, you're gonna die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely dreaming of you, but that happens all the time. It's definitely a thing, but these motherfuckers don't know that. Vampire.
It's so strange. Yeah. That's what I'm like, why do you
It doesn't
jump to
make any
that?
sense. It's just fucking
Okay.
whatever.
Religion.
I mean, and then grief does who knows what to
It
your
does-
fucking brain.
Right.
Like,
it totally fucks
that's
with you.
probably got a lot to do with this.
Yeah. So a small group of townsfolk accompanied Levi Young to the graveyard that his daughter lay in, and the leader of the group was a gaunt old man named Nathan Doc Lennox. As soon as the group...
Doc.
Yep.
What's up, Dak?
My damn Doc. He's not a real doctor.
He's not a real doctor.
No.
I just play one on TV.
Doc was the expert in folklore and strange local superstitions. As some of the group gathered wood for a fire, Levi Young alone took the burden of exhuming Nancy's grave. By sunset, the apparently never opened coffin of Nancy Young lay burning atop the fire, so they never opened it.
Okay.
Doc Lennox advised the members of the Young family to stand around the fire so the vapors from the blaze may cleanse them of the evil consuming their household.
Oh my fucking god.
They never opened it.
They're burning it, though?
Yep.
Yeah. Breathe it in.
So that they can inhale the vapors from the blaze
What?
to cleanse them of the evil.
I
consuming their
shouldn't be
household.
surprised. They were
I
like
know.
drinking hearts
They
a
definitely-
minute ago.
they
so I
definitely
don't
were.
know.
These
what
were the
fuck's
same
going on.
motherfuckers that saw a woman burning sage and were like, burn her.
Burner.
She's a witch.
Burner.
But they're burning their fucking families and are like,
Right.
that's some good shit right there. I'm feeling cleansed.
Like, this is before inhalants.
Like, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Braving the heat, the Youngs joined hands and allowed the smoke to wash over them. Unfortunately, this seemed to do little to stop the consumption ravaging the Young family.
It didn't work?
Shortly after the exhumation of Nancy, Elmira died
Let me
of
tell
her
you one thing.
illness.
I'd be pissed off.
I would be too. Fuck that.
I would
Within
be
a
very
f-
disappointed.
Within a few years, 4 more of Levi and Anna Young's children died of consumption. None of the remaining children were exhumed, though. That Nancy was the only one. They didn't do anything after that. So, the aftermath. Newspapers connected these rituals with the vampire legends of Eastern Europe. Vampire stories from all over were printed on the front pages describing similar rituals in distant locations. Like the New Englanders, people in remote parts of Europe were exhuming bodies when people fell ill and burning or planting stakes in those that seemed too full of life in their grave.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Now, the New Englanders who took part in these rituals didn't necessarily believe that there were supernatural causes to their family's illnesses. Like I said earlier, they did acknowledge the fact that TB was a thing, that consumption was a disease. Some people may have had beliefs that vampires did exist, but they were mostly desperate and unwilling to not try everything available to them to figure out why this was happening to them. Like, they were losing whole families. Like, it wasn't just like,
And nobody was like, hey, we don't have running water and there's not a lot of soap.
unfortunately not.
So, unfortunately, we're dirty and that's why this is happening.
Yep. They were just willing to do whatever they could think of to save their
only
loved
the
ones.
people with OCD thought that?
Yeah, basically.
I guess I would have
Yeah.
lived.
Me too.
Vampire beliefs started winding down at the end of the 19th century when German physician and microbiologist Robert Koch identified the bacteria responsible for TB. Science then slowly began to replace folklore and explaining the disease that had claimed and
Go
devastated
science.
so many lives.
Science.
My favorite.
So let's do a quick rundown of TB if you didn't know. Tuberculosis itself was entrenched in the Americas even before the United States was actually a country. So President George Washington himself likely fought the disease after contracting it from his brother on a trip to Barbados.
Wow. But lived to tell
But
the
he
tale.
lived. His brother Lawrence Washington, he actually went to Barbados to help treat his brother Lawrence Washington, and that's where they think that he actually contracted it.
Oh, interesting fact.
In 1786, when health officials first began recording mortality rates connected to the deadly infection, Massachusetts alone recorded 300 consumption deaths for every 100,000 residents. It was estimated that anywhere from 70 to 90% of the U.S. population had a latent or active tuberculosis
Yeah,
infection.
it was a bad thing.
It's huge.
That's why vaccines are
That is
a
why.
good thing, everyone. Just saying.
For real. Today, most people understand that tuberculosis is spread through the air by breathing in the bacteria coughed up. So, like, that whole breathing in the smoke, probably not a good idea.
No. Not if you can't already breathe.
There are now vaccines and treatments for those who contract active tuberculosis infections, because you can have tuberculosis and not actively be sick because they go dormant. In the 1800s, though, the germ theory was only just beginning to gain support in the medical community. Doctors were still arguing over the causes of tuberculosis in 1895, and this was after Mercy's death. And treatment mainly consisted of leaving large cities where the diseases obviously
Where
were
everyone's
rampant.
real grouped together.
Yep. For places like Pasadena, California, and Colorado Springs, where the climate was supposed to help ease the symptoms. Until the rise of the sanatorium movement.
And that's a perfect word for it. They
Like
marketed it as a sanatorium, as an escape, as a
Right.
Sanction?
sanctuary, I guess,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Okay.
Like, so you would go to these places, they'd be viewed as like a vacation, if you will. So you go there for a couple months, you have TB, and you're in this fresh mountain air in Colorado Springs, and
Is
you're going to
this-
get better.
Is this
There's
where the
lo-
big
Yes.
tubes are that you got to lay in?
Nope, that's
No.
an iron lung.
But there is
Okay.
a lot of like old
I've seen one of those in real
sanatoriums.
life.
A lot of mental hospitals, quote unquote, from back in the day actually started out as these sanatoriums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they converted them to these mental asylums.
Lobotomies.
Yeah. For all. Lobotomy for
Because
everyone.
People eventually, they discovered epilepsy, and then
Yeah.
Yes.
they
And that was
deemed
you were
that a
psycho.
fucking lunatic disease.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like idiots.
Yep.
The flu
Yep.
pandemic, I think it was 1918 when it just like swept the country and killed a bunch of fucking people.
Yep.
The
And they-
flu.
And they use places like this
Yeah.
to help people respite from.
and
Yeah.
they did not.
They
They
died.
died.
And that's why those places are so fucking haunted.
A lot of them died.
And they died.
And they were dead.
I agree with.
dead.
Come back and haunt those fuckers.
because they didn't have a vaccine.
Yep.
Anyway.
For fuck's sake. So,
For fuck's sakes.
do you believe in vampires?
The little Kaylee in me wants to, because I was so in love with Edward on Twilight.
Ew, not sparkly ones.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And then I was like in love with everyone on True Blood. If you know, you know. Anyways,
the folklorist in us wants to so.
yes.
Eric Northman.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Shut
him.
up.
Shut the
Shut
fuck up.
up.
Shut all the
Shut
fucking
up.
way up.
All the way up.
Yes. So you want to believe it because it's like
For real.
they're here.
Oh,
They
and I
gotta be.
forgot to touch on this too. I don't know where
I'm
my
not
phone
actually in love with him. Chill.
is. There were, okay, so on, what's the eBay?
Okay.
They actually have a vampire hunting kit from
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else because I was going to
the
get us something.
1700s.
You know they have nails from coffins of supposed vampires.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
want them so bad. I'm
Okay,
probably
let's
going
do
to
it.
order them.
Let's do it. But they have actual vampire hunting kits. So back during all of this, I tried to do a little bit of research. It was really hard to find, but so I didn't include it in here. But there were quote unquote vampire hunters. Now the thing about this is that listen.
The
It's
Brothers
hard.
Grimm.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were.
And it was a legit thing. So you can actually go on eBay and you can find old school vampire hunting kits. So that you can buy that were from like the 1700s, right?
Yeah.
So it was a whole thing because, you know,
How
why
much
not
are
get
those?
rich off
How
of
much
it?
are those?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're not going to ever buy one.
Yeah, we
But-
might for the show.
Oh, okay.
For
maybe.
purposes.
Maybe because of
For
reasons.
For reasons.
So would you want to hunt or be the hunted?
I would want to be the motherfucking
Yeah,
vampire
for
for
real.
sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What would your super cool vampire powers be?
I'm just old school. I love the reading minds.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
probably and yeah,
And the
controlling
what glamoring,
Oh, yes.
if you will.
Love it.
It's the
Love
best
it.
thing.
What else do you need?
I know.
I could get all the money and all the bitches.
You could get
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
all the
Exactly.
bitches.
Those are like the key elements.
That's right.
So, luckily or unluckily for the vampires in question, they already had perished by the time that they were accused. Unlike the Salem witch trials, those poor souls did not have to go through the public humiliation in life.
And be burned at the stake.
Only in
They
death.
were already dead.
Which still sucked, but at least they didn't have to, like,
They didn't give a shit
Right.
that their heart was drank. Nobody cares.
Nobody
They
cares.
were
That their
dead.
heart was drank.
I hope all these accused vampires were able to remain at peace and aren't doomed to roam the earth for eternity because people in colonial times were severely uneducated.
Unless they want to.
R.I.P.
Unless they want to,
Unless
bitch.
they want to. That's right.
You want to go hunt? Do it.
I come there
Just
with
don't
you.
come to me because I'm with you. I'm team you,
Yep.
Oh my god.
Miss Girl. Anyways.
So, anyways, that wraps it up.
That's it.
That's it. I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, follow along with us on Facebook and Instagram, mostly Facebook. Don't forget it.
Yep.
Yeah, mostly Facebook.
Mostly Facebook.
And don't forget about our Patreon page.
Please visit the
Please do.
Patreon at www.patreon.com/thepoisonteaparty.
She's got that voice, man. Oh my God.
And be a member.
Become one of us.
One of us. One of us.
Until next time, my friends, keep it classy like me, Jessie Assy.
Like Jessie.
Yeah.
And guess what?
I got an idea.
Yeah.
You've been poisoned, bitches.